how much money did I make last month? There we have it. So my personal income right here, $133,000 in December. All right, so behind the scenes of running a business from home. So this is going to be pretty interesting. And I'll show you guys more of the internal side as well. So this is more behind the scenes of just like a typical YouTube video, right? So there's a lot that's involved and it's almost not a lot at the same time. So as of right now, it's about 12:30 p.m. So I guess we'll get started from the beginning of the day. So I'm usually up by 6-7 a.m. because I have 2 younger kids. So that typically takes about an hour, 2 hours getting them ready for school, breakfast, and usually within an hour, depending on which kid I'm taking to school, if not both, I usually have time to hit the gym, and I typically do one of those boot camp hit classes just because it's more time efficient for me. I just used to go lift weights and be done with. I'm kind of at the point where I need to keep myself more in shape, do more cardio work and whatnot, just because I'm getting a little older. I'm not young and I'm not old at the same time. I'm at that age. And I usually try to actually go to one of those classes because honestly, for me, environment is everything. It's a lot easier to keep yourself pushing and moving when you're around other people who's also doing the same things. Same things when it comes to entrepreneurship. It's a whole lot easier to grow when relating to the quote, if you're the smartest in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. Because who are you going to learn from, right? Or even like the other quote, if you hang out with a group of millionaires and maybe 4 of them are already millionaires, you're the 5th person in the group and you're not a millionaire just yet, you're more likely to become one just by hanging out with the people that you're around, because then you start to pick up their daily habits, you're able to pick up what they like to do and just things that are good for you because that's what you want to be. So you're around people who's actually doing it. Same things happen when you go to the gym. You have to be around people that want to do the same things and are actually doing it. It's easier to slack off when you're on your own, or maybe you're just that dedicated and focused that you can lock in. And a lot of times in entrepreneurship, you will have those moments where you have to lock in on your own. But just being around other people just makes it a whole lot easier to, just keep yourself accountable, because accountability is truly important in this game. So by this time, it's usually around 9-10 a.m. I typically try to give myself something to eat. I try to eat healthy. That's one of my biggest flaws is I like to eat a lot of bad foods. I don't really eat sweets and whatnot, but I love like fatty meats. I just love food. I'm a foodie. So I'm not perfect. Like I said earlier, I'm 34 years old. So I'm too young to be old and I'm too old to be young right now. So I'm at the point where I try to look at the foods that I'm eating and I do my best to hold myself back from certain foods now. So I really do take that into consideration. And also you'll notice a huge difference too. And I challenge a lot of you all to think about the foods that you're eating throughout the day and think about whenever you're working if you have energy or not. Because if you're eating like red meats or heavy food all the time, you can feel really drowsy and feel like you don't want to work that day and you can't focus as much. If you eat like a lot healthier that day, or even just like half the day, the work that you're actually doing is a lot easier to actually focus and dial in. So think about that as well. So the foods that you consume is going to really help you on your output as well. So after I eat, I'm finally at the computer. So maybe you guys want to see my setup. I'll actually move it over in a second. But one of the first things that I typically like to do is check my bank account. That's been a new habit of mine. I check it every single day. So I've shown many times like how much I make in sales, the profit breakdowns on those, but let's go ahead and take a look. And I'm not doing this to boast or brag. I'm just doing this to show you guys what 10 years of entrepreneurship can really do for you. Let's look and see what I actually bring in into my personal bank account. So last month is a little bit different just because it was December. You make a lot more money at that time. But let's go ahead and how do I turn off my notifications because it's going crazy. How much money did I make last month? All right, so let's change this up so we can see it. All right, so there we have it. So my personal income right here, $133,000 in December. That's $74,000 over my average. So like I said, it's going to be different than what we see on average, you guys. So that's what my actual personal account looks like in comparison to a lot of times we show sales and profits and numbers that's actually on like, Etsy or Shopify and whatnot. So I don't do that to boast or brag or anything of that nature. I just want to show you guys that it is possible. And a lot of times we're kind of in the early stages, it can be, and even now, like I have certain friends where I can't even talk about this type of stuff, but like my entrepreneur friends, we can talk about money all day without it sound like bragging, because you just learn from each other and like what you did to create this income, what you did to make that money, and so forth. And the only reason why I even do this, like me making this video right now, is almost for myself, because it's kind of crazy, because like 10 years ago is when I really got started into this whole e-commerce side. And a piece of me like still feel like I can't believe I'm here, but at the same time it's like I knew I would be here. But it's just crazy whenever it actually happens. And I know there's a lot of people who make way more money, and a lot of times depending how you feel, it can draw that anger out of you like you're not doing enough. So sometimes I just want you to understand the growth that you're doing right now is enough. And I'll hop into that a little bit later as well, because that is a common mistake that I notice a lot of new sellers and entrepreneurs make as well, is not looking at the growth that they're actually making. And I'm guilty of this as well. So, don't look at it as a bad thing. Just really understand you're going and you're growing right now. And since we're pretty much on the topic of today itself, that brings us to about 10 a.m. today. I actually had to swing by the print shop, check on some fulfillment, and, check with my local production partner. So if you don't realize or know by now, I do a lot of Etsy, print on demand, Shopify, selling products online. And, we use a lot of different fulfillment partners at this point. We don't fulfill in-house as much anymore, but I do still have a local partner. And that's really important because a lot of times I see people all the time in Facebook groups like whoa, the camera just fell. And a lot of times I still see people blaming, maybe if they're using Printify, Christmas time, products are late, shipments are late, it's taking a while, it's getting delayed. You have to expect these things to happen, and it will happen. It's just the nature of the business, and it's one of the cons when it comes to using a different fulfillment partner that you're not directly attached to. So, for myself, I like to take matters to my own hands. I can't blame anyone else but myself, because if you're the business owner, you're the only person that you can blame. You got to have some kind of backup plan. Some of you guys maybe know how to produce in-house. For myself, at this point, we use my local screen printer shop. They'll fulfill for me. They'll print out products. And this is even helpful for print on demand. A lot of times we use this to test multiple different products. When a particular product is outselling all the other products and is, selling 100 times a week, it's very easy for us to take this product in-house and bring in the margins for ourselves and bring in a higher profit margin, because it's easy for us to screen print a single product over and over. But it's way easier to use print on demand to print things that are shipping out here, there, different designs that are selling one off here and one off there. So it's a lot easier to use it for that. And it just kind of depends how you want to handle your own business. And at the end of the day, the business is in your hands. You can't really blame anybody else except for yourself. So, one thing I realized in business, there's no time to complain. Every once in a while, you can probably say this and that, but you need to find the answer as well. So now y'all caught up with me for today. It's 12:30 p.m. And now this is the time that I sit down and I start to manage my teams. So before we hop into that, so as you can see, this is my setup. I have two 34-inch ultra wides. It's a little OD, it's a little much, honestly, because it's kind of rare that I use like this area of the screen, and same for this side. It's kind of rare that I use that area of the actual screen. So it is a little much. I used to just use one, and then, I just wanted to be cool and put both of them together. So most of the teams are on Slack. Some of them are actually on WhatsApp, which is going to be a more free option for you as well. But, Slack is just a lot easier to organize. You can also use Discord alternatively for this as well. But Slack has just been, I don't know, we've had it for a while, and there's no point in canceling and just transitioning everyone over. So this is my fairly simple setup. It's nothing too crazy, although it does kind of look crazy. I have my mic here. It actually swings under the monitor when I don't need it. I leave my important documents out like this right here. I have jury duty coming up. Typically I leave my taxes out, but I pay that, and taxes are a pain. So currently I have pretty much 2.5 teams. I have one team that manages my personal brand, which is my video editor, and then we have a manager that helps me post the content when it's ready for it to go live. That way I don't have to think about that type of stuff as much. So a lot of what you're seeing is almost self-managed. That way I can just really focus on the actual business itself. So if you don't know by now, I do a lot of full-time e-com, Etsy, Amazon, Shopify, print on demand, and that's a whole nother team on its own. So we have customer representatives on there as a whole nother team, designers as well. So I usually spend most of the time here. I spend an hour or two just pretty much doing some product research, getting the new design trends ready and listed. Not necessarily listed, but listed out for my designers so they know which ones to focus on next. And we're just always prepping for the next upcoming month's trends and products. And I say 2.5 because the other half is my after hours team, which is my clone brand. And you've probably seen a lot of the videos over the past about 1.5, 2 years now of us launching this brand. That's still kind of been a large hobby. It's made some decent money here and there, but when it comes to a brand, it's almost more of a passion project for us. But I'm working on it, and it's been coming together. It's just not coming together as quickly as we would like. So once more of the pieces fall, more more in place, we'll be well on our way. Right now, we've been at the point where we built a lot of different things out, but now it's time for us to build some internal systems so that it's properly and constantly running, each and every single day. Right now, it's just kind of a passion project where we focus on it here, we focus on it there. So that's one thing as well. If you guys are building out a brand, you have to find a way to at least spend an additional 1 hour on it every single day. And I'm talking about like highly focused work. When I'm working, I'm very optimized and I'm just focused on actual work. All right. So really think about that as well. And that is kind of a hard thing to do whenever you're a new seller, you're a new entrepreneur, because you might not even know what to focus on. So this is exactly why things takes time. Even at the level I'm at right now, this is something that we can't even rush because it takes time. I have other partners with this brand and it just takes time to get everyone on the same page. But once we're there, we'll be up and running, and nothing's going to stop us from there. So all of this is managed through Slack or WhatsApp. And then by the time I'm done with that, it's about 2-3 hours past and it's time for me to pick up my kids from school, which is crazy, right? So time honestly flies. So from there, after I pick up my kids, it's almost dinner time at that point. Then I decide if there's other things I need to manage, if there's other things that I need to do before I get off completely for the whole entire day. Sometimes I may have events that I got to go to, maybe events that I have to speak to. Maybe I have a video collaboration with someone to create some content or something. Or sometimes we have weekly coaching calls as well with some of my students. Maybe I have a one-on-one call coming up. So, I'll spend time making some slides. And let me show you this one slide that I love that I've seen recently too. This is probably going to be pretty beneficial for you. Before I pull up the slides, I do just want to show you like my students on the inside are crushing it. I got someone who just sold 2 sweaters, never sold before. They just got their badges. First bulk order of 15 items, $267. Honestly, it's crazy. I just had my guy Mitchell. He did over $100,000 again for the year. That's awesome. New to POD, $2,500 last 30 days. My student Anita, she's always crushing it. Over $800,000. She's also one of our coaches as well. So $800,000 last year. So I actually found this top part right here. It was an Instagram post, and I actually took the information. I was like, let me see if I can find some other information that can actually relate to that as well. So first of all, I even fact checked this, and this is fairly accurate as well. So Drake, he put out 133 songs, but only 38 of them are hits, which is 28%. Beyonce, 89 songs, 22 are hits. Red Hot Chili Peppers, 265 songs, 13 are hits. That's 4.9%. And I'll hop into the baseball ones in a second. But you have to understand, when it comes to listing online, creating more Etsy products, more Amazon products, or even Shopify products, only 10 to 20% of your products are going to be the real winners. And that's if you are on your all-star game. That's you being Drake or Beyonce, you at your extreme best, meaning all the products that you're putting out is your best work. Even still, only 10 to 20% of those products are going to be the products that actually take off. But those 10 to 20 products can carry you. Period, to carry your whole entire business. And that's where you see those actual breakthroughs. Those are your home run products. Those are the products that you knock it out of the park and it helps you win the whole entire game of entrepreneurship. And I've realized this, even when it comes to creating content on this personal brand side, me doing YouTube, 80% of my videos do not hit. Although, we have a decent average now, 1,000, 2,000 views per video. Originally, that used to be like 10, 20 views per video when I first started. It picks up, right? But 10 to 20% of my videos are the ones that knocks it out of the park. These are the ones where everyone comes and see the videos, they subscribe, and they want to see what else is going on. 10 to 20% of your work, even if it's your absolute best work, is going to be the ones that knock it out of the park. So for example, Babe Ruth, 2,800 hits, 714 home runs. That's 24%. It's crazy. Hank Aaron, 3,700 hits, 755 home runs, 20%. Derek Jeter, 3,400 hits, 260 home runs, 7.5%, you guys. And this is you being the very best you that you can possibly be. So don't give up just yet. You're practicing right now to become the actual best version of yourself that you possibly can. One of the biggest things I've learned about new sellers, since I've become a coach, I've come across and helped multiple individuals, hop into entrepreneurship, become new sellers and so on. One of the biggest mistakes, and I don't know if it's a mistake, but it's kind of something that you overlook. And I'm guilty of this as well. So when I first started, we really don't measure our growth, right? We just really want to be where we want to be like overnight. When I first started, I wanted to be at $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, like ASAP. And it's so easy to feel like it should be achieved within a few months because we see all these breakthroughs online, and yeah, they may be true, but they are outliers. For myself, it did take me time for me to really reach it consistently. I was able to reach it in a short amount of time after the fact that I really learned exactly what I needed to do properly. So a lot of times it's hard for us to measure growth. And this can really drown us in the very beginning. You know, it's hard to see like, okay, we went from $10 a day to $100 a day, but we're not at $1,000 a day yet. You know, you 10x yourself. You went from $10 to $100 that day. That's 10x. But instead, I would still feel down because I wanted to go 1,000x overnight. And when you set your standards so high, it's hard to be satisfied with anything. So sometimes you have to have high standards and low expectations, but still put in the work every single day and work for that standard that you actually have. You need to start celebrating every single small win that you have, because those small wins are what you need to eventually get to that 1000x. So just always remember to be proud of yourself on how far you've come. Comparison is the thief of joy. This is one of my other favorite quotes as well. And you know, I don't want you guys to see my numbers and compare to it and, you know, feel, you know, sad about yourself, because this video is practically for myself, for talking to myself from 10 years ago. You have to understand, belief is going to be the first thing that takes you to where you need to be. The day that you stop believing in yourself, the day that you tell yourself these numbers aren't possible, it's never going to be achievable for you. I don't have the extreme highest level of knowledge. I just have it because I've done this years and years over, and the knowledge came. You know, I'm not exactly Asian. I'm not completely book smart. My core GPA in high school was 1.7. I wasn't extremely book smart. It's hard for me to really get into a lot of those things, but you know, I knew what I wanted and I wouldn't stop until I got it. So hopefully this behind the scenes kind of helped you out. It wasn't a huge behind the scenes because I'm literally doing this most of the time. I'm here, I'm home. There's times where I gotta go places. Maybe I gotta go to events, you know, there's times where I gotta do all that, but this is me for the most part. So it's funny because, you know, it seems like I work a lot, which I kind of do, but at the same time, it's like I don't work a lot. It's almost a healthy little balance of me finding myself over the years. And you know what? Maybe I'll get back to the hardcore grind once the After Hours brand picks up again or something, you know? But for the most part, I'm here. I love working from home. I love what my life has become. And honestly, I'm grateful. If this video helped you out, if you want to see more videos like this, comment down below. Let me know what your #1 inspiration, your purpose, and why you continue to do this down below. And that allows me to know I should post more videos like this. I'll see you guys on the next one.